Welcome to NMH at 1, where we inform you on the news making waves in Namibia and beyond, all through the lunch hour.
Coming up in today's broadcast, the Minister of Higher Education, Training and Innovation, Itah Kandji-Murangi, has urged prospective students to apply early between the 1st of December and the 31st of January to avoid late registrations. Friends and colleagues of an engineer found killed in his house in Windhoek in May this year do not want the couple charged over his death to be granted bail. Now, the introduction of tolls on public roads will rob Namibians of their hard-earned money, Popular Democratic Movement leader McHenry Venaani said.
These stories, economic news, sports, update and international headlines coming your way, read to you by Glenora, Tjipura and Aina, Kweyo.
In today's midday news update, the Supreme Court has ruled to reverse the bail of Fishwood accused Ricardo Gustavo. In December last year, Judge Herman Oosthuizen granted Gustavo's bail application, which was challenged by the state in the Supreme Court. A full bench of the Supreme Court this morning ruled that the appeal was successful. Gustavo has till end of day to hand himself over. According to an order from the Supreme Court, he has till 5 p.m. today to report to Windhoek Correctional Facility.
Please to remember to engage us on social media as we continue to bring you pertinent news and events as they occur. Visual news coming up after the break.
Active Kids is an initiative under the MyZone brand that aims to provide exciting and easy activities and fun stories. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact zone@synergy.com.na. Active Kids, where we actively invest in your future.
In our visual news this afternoon, the Minister of Higher Education, Training and Innovation, Itah Kandji-Murangi, has urged prospective students to apply earlier between the 1st of December and the 31st of January 2023 to avoid late registrations and approval of financial assistance. The Namibian Student Financial Assistance Fund has launched a more refined online application process and has encouraged students to apply their right way the first time. Elizabeth Joseph was there.
Prospective students are therefore urged to apply promptly to ensure timely award in order to avoid payment of hefty registration fees at our institutions of higher learning or the possibility of dropping out due to uncertainty. Since independence, the government of the Republic of Namibia through NSFAF has been responsible for ensuring that eligible Namibian child get access to tertiary education, with special priority being given to the needy children. I know there are many needy students in our country, but as we have heard from our acting Chief Executive Officer, there are processes that are usually undertaken to ensure that NSFAF does eliminate those who can afford, basing on their parental income, and actually sieve out those who cannot actually fend for themselves in this academic journey. In the last 5 years, that is from 2018 to 2022, a total number of 70,233 students were provided with financial assistance by NSFAF to the tune of 6.99 billion. This is a clear demonstration that the government of the Republic of Namibia is committed to education and training, and in particular tertiary education, including technical, vocational education and training. It is also worth mentioning that the majority of students assisted for the past 5 years are studying at our local institutions of higher learning, with 23,760 students funded to study at UNA, while 10,159 are funded to study at NAST.
In our next video, the official launch of the Commonwealth Beach Rowing Championship took place yesterday at the Independence Beach in Walvis Bay. The mayor of Walvis Bay, Trevino Forbes, said the Commonwealth Beach Rowing Championship is an excellent opportunity for local sportsmen and women. According to him, it will also broaden and enlighten the concept of rowing among school children and the youth.
Rowing Federation, in conjunction with Commonwealth Rowing Association, decided to host the 2022 CRA Beach Sprint Championships on this beach here in Walvis Bay. On behalf of the Municipal Council of Walvis Bay, I would like to welcome everyone here. This championship is an excellent opportunity for all local sportsmen and women and will definitely broaden and enlighten the concept of rowing among school children and the youth. I'm also confident that this event, as it is an international event with 12 Commonwealth member countries involved, will have a positive economic impact on Walvis Bay and the Irongo region. Governor, I will not give the region out. And empower the rowing community of Namibia. Without taking up much of your time, I would like to officially welcome everyone to the official opening of the Commonwealth Rowing Championships that will take place on the 2nd and 4th December 2022. A welcoming speech should be as such, and not an explanation of everything that goes on. So, with that being said, you are all welcome. Please do enjoy the day and the championship with all of us. Thank you very much.
After the break, we review pertinent stories from the country's daily newspapers. Stay with NMH at 1.
The Agenda is a weekly national affairs interview program hosted every Sunday by Namibian Sun editor Toyvon Jabela, featuring a panel of high-profile newsmakers, analysts and experts. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact agenda@synergy.com.na. The Agenda, focused on today's conversation.
Let's take a look at our newspaper review. President Hage Geingoob's alleged assistance to his South African counterpart Cyril Ramaphosa in apprehending a suspect in a robbery at the latter's Falafala farm amounted to abuse of position by Ramaphosa, an inquiry found leaving Geingoob's own reputation in tatters. Now on the paper's page 2, or rather page 3, lack of funding and marketing, bureaucratic delays and costly electricity are some of the major challenges that continue to threaten the sustainability of green schemes. This is according to a report by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources subsequent to its follow-up visits to green scheme irrigation projects in the Kavango East and Kavango West regions.
Now moving on to our next story, Afrikaans daily newspaper Republican reports Rehoboth has elected a new mayor on Wednesday. This honor goes to the landless People's Movement member Amanda Laudimila Groenewald. This follows months of discussion over the interruption of services on the town and former mayor Enrico Juniors, who is still being treated in an intensive care unit in South Africa after he was seriously injured in September during the fight against a wildfire. Community members gathered excitedly on Wednesday at the opening of a brand new spa shopping center in Henties Bay. Henties' previous spa was laid in ruins in a fire on the 26th of March 2022. At the opening of the shop, staff performed a special song before the owners Johan and Darlene Engenberg cut ribbon excitedly and welcomed shoppers at the brand new store.
The Pangolian Conservation and Research Foundation recently released its first results after a year data collection on a free-ranging male and female pangolin. This is according to the Allgemeine Zeitung. They both were found in October 2021 together with a cub. According to the non-profit organization, the animals are the first freely roaming Temminck pangolins tagged with SAT GPS beacons to understand their intercommunal ecology. On the paper's page 2, after the dissatisfaction among part of the Congress participants of 7th SWAPO Party Congress leads to a formal request for revision, the ballot papers are now being counted and verified for a second time. Do stay with us for more newspaper review.
Africa Good Morning is a current affairs program that brings you the latest from Southern Africa and beyond. News, economics, sport, weather, interviews, and so much more. For any advertising or news-related queries, contact AGM at synergy.com.na. Africa Good Morning, bringing Africa to you.
Let's continue with our newspaper review. An independent panel's report into the Pala theft has given further details on how 4 of the 5 Namibian suspects who allegedly stole millions from South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa were tracked down to a house in Cape Town where they were allegedly handcuffed and interrogated. According to the paper's page 3, relatives and friends and colleagues of an engineer found killed in his house in Windhoek in May this year do not want the couple charged over his death to be granted bail. A witness testified in Windhoek's magistrate court this week.
Now, the government has spent nearly $7 billion between 2018 and 2022 on 70,233 students who were provided with financial assistance by the Namibia Students Financial Assistance Fund. This was revealed by Higher Education Minister Itah Kandji-Murangi when she announced the 2023 study loan application process. Now, according to the paper's page 3, the introduction of tolls on public roads will rob Namibians of their hard-earned money, Popular Democratic Movement leader McHenry Venaani said. Following cabinet approval for consultations regarding toll gates, preparations are being made to impose tolls on the nation's roadways. The Road Fund Administration is expected to return to seek implementation approval after these consultations.
Now, in our next story, we look at the Market Watch. Local banks continue to increase their investment holdings at a faster pace than credit extension to their clients. Simone Storm said this once again confirms that banks have become more risk-averse in the current economic environment, while demand for credit remains relatively high despite the interest rate hiking cycle.
Now, RMB commits to unlocking aviation potential. Stay with NMH at 1 as we head into economic news on the other side of this with Aina Kweyo.
AgriMonitor is jou weeklikse landboukundige program wat jou die jongste nuus in die landbouverwante bedryf en onderwerpe wat daaraan gekoppel is, bring. Vir enige advertensie of nuusverwante navraag, kontak agrimonitor@synergy.com.na.
Let's get into our economic news this afternoon. As a major player in the country's corporate and investment banking space, RMB Namibia is committed to unlocking new opportunities in the Namibian aviation industry, providing innovation finance solutions. Jason Shikaleko, head of investment banking at RMB Namibia. These were the sentiments expressed by Shikaleko, RMB head of investment banking division, during a panel discussion at the recently concluded Namibia Aviation and Connectivity Forum held in Windhoek. The forum, which is a first of its kind for Namibia, aims to create a platform where key industry players and stakeholders share, tackle, rethink, and put into motion ideas on the trajectory that the aviation industry and its related ecosystem will take over the next years. It further seeks to cement the industry's role as key to Namibia's economic recovery and growth, as well as drive the revival of the aviation and other ancillary industries, which as tourism after the effect of COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Shikaleko explained that they pride themselves in developing a global competitive Namibia, so it is not hard to see why infrastructure development is close to our business. As a funding opportunity, we see it's a clever combination of development, finance, and sophisticated investment banking. We have been very busy in the aviation sector, and even after the COVID-19 pandemic, our outlook remains the same, mainly because of the top of all our solutions. We apply traditional values and innovation ideas, Shikaleko said. Now moving on to our next story. Continued operational and safety challenges in Sasol coal business has negatively impacted the group's production and sale performance, as well as its outlook for the rest of the year, and the Sin Fuels and Chemical Group has warned. In a trading statement released on Monday, Sasol said it experienced several operational challenges in October and November in its Secunda coal value chain, which has negatively impacted production and sales volume performance in the second quarter of the 2023 financial year, as well as the outlook of the remainder of the financial year. The major production impacts at Secunda includes proactive safety and operational stoppages initiated mostly by Sasol own employees and regulators, continued challenges on coal quality, and unprecedented rainfall which flooded a coal processing unit and resulted in a factory outage of several days. As a result of the myriad challenges, Sasol has adjusted market guidance and now expects Secunda operations to produce volumes between 6.6 million tons and 6.9 million tons, down from previous guidance of between 7 million tons and 7.2 million tons. Liquid fuel sales volume have been revised to between 52 million and 55 million barrels, compared with previous guidance of 53 million to 56 million barrels. Sasol said it will maintain its focus on safety, improving productivity and coal quality through a safety remediation plan and ongoing interventions. Now we take a look at our economic indicators. $1 now trades at 17 Namibian dollars 57 cents, a 0.1% decrease in local currency. MTC stock price dropped by 0.1%, while the rest of the stock prices on the Namibia Stock Exchange remain unchanged. SPN Holdings stock prices dropped by 4.8%. Local index increased by 0.14%, while the overall index decreased by 1.63%. Now gold is valued at $1,803 while Brent crude oil is valued at $87.02 per barrel. Fighting with heavy weapons resumed on Thursday in eastern DRC between the M23 rebels and the Congolese army. This and more stories from the African continent coming up on NMH at 1 after the break.
In Business 7, you get news on current economic, financial, and business matters in Namibia. The weekly show features interviews with experts and in-depth analysis of burning issues in a way that caters for ordinary Namibians and business connoisseurs alike. For news-related or advertising queries, please contact B7 at synergy.com.na.
Thank you very much for watching our show this afternoon. Let's get into the news from the African continent. Fighting with heavy weapons resumed on Thursday in eastern DRC between M23 rebels and the Congolese army after 5 days of a truce following the decisions by Luanda summit on the 23rd of November. This summit had decided on the ceasefire on Friday the 25th at 4 p.m. followed 2 days later by the withdrawal of the M23 from the area conquered for several months in the province of North Kivu. No withdrawal was observed, but the fighting had ceased since Saturday morning between the army and the M23, even if the latter continued to oppose militias, in particular on Tuesday in a village in the Bambo region, around 70 kilometers north of the provincial capital Ngoma, where many civilians are believed to have been killed. It is not far from there that a resumption of a fight between the rebels and the armed forces of DRC was reported on Thursday in Kirima, about 10 kilometers from the town of Kizi. Since the morning, fighting has resumed between the FARDC and the M23 in Kirima. The rebels crossed the bridge between Kimbiziri after fighting the day before yesterday in Kinishe. There is a panic, testified Paul Litumbwala, president of a civil society of Bambo. A security source on a condition of anonymity accused the M23 rebels of violating the ceasefire and the continuing to loot and fight. The fighting is violent. We are using heavy artillery against the M23, a Congolese army officer told AFP, who also requested anonymity. Also questioned by AFP, the military spokesperson of the M23, Willy Ngoma, confirmed these fights with the FARDC. According to Julson Kaniki, head of civil society in Kirimbizi, the prospect of the rebels arriving in the town had also caused panic. People are starting to flee, he said. Now moving on to our next story. The African continent is set to receive its first batch of monkeypox vaccine, 50,000 doses in all, as a donation from South Korea, according to the African Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The doses will be given to health workers and people living in the hardest hit areas, but no timing was given to the doses arrival. There have been 202 deaths recorded from monkeypox in the continent, with a death rate of 19.3% across 13 countries. Acting CDC Director Ahmed Ohwel noted that there were 51 new monkeypox cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo in the past week, and said Ghana and Nigeria are the other most affected countries in Africa. Now on Monday, the World Health Organization announced that it would start using monkeypox the preferred term, Mpox rather, as the preferred term for what had been known as monkeypox to avoid racism, stigmatization stemming from the existing name. Now, in the last month, the UN has also criticized new coverage about the disease, warning that poor reporting can reinforce homophobic and racist stereotypes and exacerbate stigma. In June, WHO said it was in the process of procuring thousands of Mpox tests for Africa, but was not recommending mass vaccination at this stage. Its African Director Motshodiso Moedi said. Now moving on to our next story, the Nigerian government has approved a new national language policy that will mandate the use of local language as a language of instruction for primary school learners and remove English. The policy was announced by Nigeria's Minister of Education Amudu on Wednesday after it was approved by the Federal Executive Council in a meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, local media reported. The government has agreed now that henceforth instruction in primary school, the first 6 years of learning, will be in mother tongue. The minister was quoted saying, "English is Nigeria's official language. It is also the language of instruction in all levels of education. The objective of the new policy is to promote and enhance the cultivation and use of all Nigerian languages." Amudu said there were about 625 local languages in Nigeria. He said, and the policy would be applied nationally. Since the first 6 years of school should be in mother tongue, whereby the learner is the language of the host community, is what will be used, he explained. Adamu said that after the exclusive use of local languages for the first 6 years of school, the mother tongue would then be combined with English at the junior secondary level. While the new policy has officially taken effect, it is more in principle, the minister added, as full implementation will only happen once more preparatory work has been done. Theoretically, this policy starts from today, but the use of mother tongue is exclusive, but we need time to develop the material to get the teachers and so on, he said on Wednesday. Now, in international news, up to 13,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed since the start of Russia's invasion. Stay with NMH at 1 for this story and more with Glenora Tjipura.
The My.NA Cars Show provides viewers with the best in-class cars content, engaging interviews, as well as a showcase of the latest cars-related news, products, and services. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact My.NA at synergy.com.na. My.NA Cars, more than just a ride.
Let's get into our international news. Up to 13,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed since the start of Russia's invasion, a senior official has said. Mikhailo Podolyak, an advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, said between 10,000 and 13,000 troops had died. It is rare for Ukraine to give figures for casualties, and Podolyak's comments have not been confirmed by the country's military. In June, he said between 100 and 200 Ukrainian soldiers were dying daily. Last month, the most senior U.S. General Mark Milley said around 100,000 Russian and 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers had been killed or injured since the start of the war. In a video address on Wednesday, EU Commission head Ursula von der Leyen said that 100,000 Ukrainian troops had been killed. However, a spokesperson for the EU Commission later clarified that this was a mistake and the figure referred to those both killed and injured. Speaking to Ukrainian TV outlet Channel 24, Mr. Podolyak said Kyiv was openly talking about the number of the killed. We have official evaluations by the General Staff official evaluations by the commander-in-chief, and they range from 10,000 to 12,500 and 13,000 killed, he said. He added that the number of civilians killed could be significant. BBC News had identified about 3,600 civilian deaths as of mid-June. The figure is now likely to be much higher. Von der Leyen said 20,000 Ukrainian civilians had been killed. While that number was not retracted by the EU Commission, it was removed from later revisions of the video, along with assertion that 100,000 troops had been killed. Now, Podolyak also suggested that up to 100,000 Russian soldiers had been killed since the invasion began on 24 February, and that a further 100,000 to 150,000 had been wounded or were missing or unable to return to combat. Now, the BBC's Russian service has established that at least 9,311 Russian soldiers of all ranks have been killed since the invasion on 24 February, while the true death toll could be more than 18,000. In our next story, the city of Minneapolis will pay $50,000 each to 12 people injured by police during demonstrations that erupted after a white officer killed George Floyd by pinning the 46-year-old black man's neck to the ground with a knee, court records show. As part of a settlement approved on Wednesday in federal court, Minneapolis will also implement reforms in the way police officers handle demonstrations, prohibiting them from using physical force and from deploying chemical agents against peaceful protesters. The settlement requires body cameras worn by Minneapolis police to be recording and unobstructed when they engage with protesters, court records showed. This agreement is a big step towards keeping peaceful protesters safe from police violence. I hope other police departments across the country see this outcome and proactively adopt these same policies and standards. Jordan Mayer, one of the plaintiffs in the case, said in a statement released by the Minnesota chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU helped file the class action lawsuit against the city. Now, demonstrations and at times violent riots erupted across Minneapolis hours after Officer Derek Chauvin pressed his knee against Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes during an arrest over a counterfeit $20 bill on 25 May 2020. Now, Chauvin was later convicted of murder and pleaded guilty to federal charges. A video of the incident circulating on social media helped spark demonstrations against police brutality and racism across the nation and in large cities around the globe. Now, the 12 plaintiffs suffered injuries, including bruising from less lethal munitions, lingering respiratory issues from tear gas, and psychological trauma, the ACLU said. Now, the Minneapolis City Council approved the settlement on 20th of October, and Mayor Jacob Frey signed it 6 days later, local media reported. Do stay with us for your local sports news.
Iranga Talk brings you community news in the Oranga region. For news-related or advertising queries, contact irangatalk@synergy.com.na. Iranga Talk, our community, your news.
Let's take a look at our local sports news. Gerard Erasmus finished on an unbeaten 96 runs off 130 balls, with the Namibia captain as the main contributor to the Richelieu Eagles' total of 211 for 9 in 50 overs against Scotland yesterday. In reply, the Europeans will need 212 to take the 2 points up for grabs in the ICC World Cup League 2 match today. JJ Smith made 38 off 58 balls, while Scotland's Savian Sharif and Brendan McMillan took 3 wickets each. In our next story, the highlights of the Dep Marine Namibia Premiership this weekend will be a much-anticipated derby between cross-town rivals Live Fighters and Mighty Gunners at the Makati Stadium tomorrow. Namibia's track and field star Christine Boma says she is hard at work readying for next year. The Olympic silver medalist who injured her thigh last year is eager to return to the track. Do stay tuned for the international sports news right after this. Let's first take a look at our World Cup results from yesterday. Belgium Golden Generation lost shine in World Cup exit as Croatia progressed to the knockout stage after a 0-0 draw. In the final 90 minutes of play in Group F, Morocco flexed their attacking muscles to defeat Canada 2-1, sealing their fate as group winners and advancing to the knockout stage. Japan's FIFA World Cup journey continued in stunning fashion as a comeback from a 2-1 victory over Spain. Spain also advanced to the next stage. Now, Germany was knocked out into the FIFA World Cup group stage after the second consecutive time despite beating Costa Rica 4-2 as Group E comes to a captivating close. Let's get into our international sports news. In a quickly emptying East Berlin bar, Eric Warnaker is disappointed by Germany's shock exit from the World Cup, but says he already suspected it might happen. After a surprise 2-1 loss in the opening game to Japan, the team left themselves a hill to climb to make it through to the knockout round in Qatar. A tense 1-1 draw against Spain gave them hope of qualification, but the Spaniards' own defeats at the hands of the Japanese on Thursday sealed the Germans' fate despite a turbulent 4-2 win over Costa Rica. Now, French striker Antoine Griezmann has been following Uruguay closely at the World Cup and hopes coach Diego Alonso can lead the team to the knockout stages. Griezmann, whose last gasp equalizer was disallowed in France's 1-0 defeat by Tunisia on Wednesday, has joined in the anguish of Uruguayan fans who remain on the brink of elimination after losing to Portugal. Cameroon will head into their final game heading a win against the #1 ranked team in the world, and the results of the group's other game to go their way. Brazil, who have already qualified for the next round, are expected to rest many of their key players. Cameroon will also have to be buoyed by their incredible comeback against Serbia, which saw them scared 2 quick-fire goals to level the game after being 3-1 down. If you are just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this break.
Flex is your health and fitness show that focuses on the health of the mind, body, and spirit. If you would like to feature your brand or campaign on this platform, contact zone@synergy.com.na.
Let's get into the highlights from today's broadcast. Fighting with heavy weapons resumed on Thursday in eastern DRC between M23 rebels and the Congolese army. Up to 13,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed since the start of Russia's invasion, a senior official has said. The highlight of the Deb Marine Namibia Premiership this weekend will be a much anticipated derby between crosstown rivals Live Fighters and the mighty Gunners.
And those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa, and the world, ranging from current affairs, economic news, sports, and international headlines. That's it from us in studio, but don't go anywhere because up next is Arango Talk.
Hello NMH at 1 viewers, my name is Michael Kayunde. I'm back on your TV screens to give you guys a lowdown of the events that are taking place in the country this weekend. As always, you can catch chill sessions tonight at 1900 hours, that's on Namibian Sun's Facebook page, and you can catch the repeat of the show tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock on NTV channel 285 on DSTV. Moving along with other events that are taking place this weekend, today the annual Zambezi Brim Festival kicked off at Katima Mlilo Sports Complex. Tickets are available at web tickets from $50 to $1,000. So if you are in Katima, Katima Sports Complex is the place to be at. And lastly, you can catch that is the Top Cherry Kiddies concert taking place tomorrow at the Doc Juba Field in Olympia. You can expect performances by the likes of DJ Spuza, DJ Sia, DJ Roxy, and also other artists that are on the lineup, including Tate Buti, DJ Spuza, I mentioned him already, as well as Top Cherry herself. Tickets are also available at Web Tickets, $50 for kids, as well as $60 for adults. So those are some of the events taking place this weekend. Make sure you go out there, support them, and also have fun responsibly. From me, Michael, until next week, same time, same channel, it's bye-bye.
Hello Irongo Talk viewers and welcome back to another exciting episode of Irongo Talk. I'm your host Sheldon Johannes, and as per usual we bring you your latest weather and tides news, and we bring you the highlights from the launch of the Commonwealth Beach Rowing Championships, which took place yesterday here at the Independence Beach. So viewers, stay tuned, we'll be right back after the break. For our first news story, the FNB St. Man Triathlon is geared to give athletes at the coast an event of a lifetime. Organizer Yvonne Brinkman of OTB Sports says there is a lot of excitement in the air about this upcoming event. We are expecting a big turnout. The defending champions Bonita Cash, the ladies, and Conrad Marais, the man, confirmed that they will be in Swakopmund to compete again this year. Bonita Bonita is on a roll and recently won the RMB off-road triathlon. The event is made possible by FNB, which has taken up the role as title sponsor for the last 15 years. This year's 35th edition of the annual event will once again be held with the start or finish and transition area located at the Mola in Swakopmund. The swim stage will be an open water sea swim. Participants are advised to wear a wet suit due to the cold sea temperatures. And now for our second news story. Walvis Bay will once again become the center of attention for boxers and boxing fans with the King of the Ring Boxing Night hosted by Namibian Boxing Academy. The president of the Namibian Kickboxing Federation, NKF, Anita de Klerk, said the event, which will take place on the 10th December at the Walvis Bay Indoor Sports Complex, will bring together top boxers from all over the country. National boxers will compete to attain bragging rights. The event will also provide boxers with an opportunity to lay their claim and hopefully become some of the top boxers in the country. De Klerk invited the community to come in numbers, show support and fill up the venue. Come and witness Namibia's finest boxers showcasing their talent. According to the Walvis Bay-based boxing coach Kingston Peyomba, the King of the Ring event will be a night to remember. It will be an exhibition of skills filled with knockouts. There will be more than 20 flyweight and heavyweight fights with 3 title fights. the fans can look forward to. The event will also cater for and accommodate female participants. And now for our third and final story, Trio Feminale presents tangos by Astor Piazzolla in Windhoek on the 14th December and in Swakopmund on the 18th. Astor Piazzolla, the son of Italian parents, was born in 1921 in Argentina and grew up in New York. His great passion was tango music and the bandoneon, a type of concertina popular in Argentina. Piazzolla is seen as the founder of Tango Nouveau since he brought the tango from bars and streets to concert halls. He died in Buenos Aires in 1992. The trio feminale, consisting of Christa Lamberts, Susan Kingham, and Christine Ast, on both evenings present Piazzolla ardent hearing seniority with compositions like Four Seasons, Oblivion, and other tangos. Both evenings are opened with Paquito de Riveras, and the Leo from Leo's Garden restaurant in Windhoek has made this special evening possible by having organized a grand piano. On the 14th of December, the doors open at 6, with the concert starting at 6:30. Thereafter, a special dinner is offered. Tickets cost $300 Namibian and are available from Leo at 081-398-9889 in advance, since only 100 seats are available. So viewers, if you guys want to read more on these stories, you can catch them on our website. That's at www.irongo.com.na. But for now, stay tuned.
Chill Sessions is an entertainment show bringing the latest hits, fashion, and entertainment news. Chill aims at reaching all entertainers, youth, and artistic fans. Catch Chill on NTV, OneUp2.com, the Namibian Sun, Chill, and Namibia Media Holdings platform. Chill focuses on countdown of the latest hits, fashion trends, celebrity interviews, and more. To share your music-related news, products, and services, contact Chill at synergy.com.na. Chill Sessions, bringing art and entertainment to the people.
Good afternoon all. It is always a good day when I have to welcome people to events such as this one. We are truly honored that the Namibian Canoe and Rowing Federation, in conjunction with Commonwealth Rowing Association, decided to host the 2022 CRA Beach Sprint Championships on this beach here in Walvis Bay. On behalf of the Municipal Council of Walvis Bay, I would like to welcome everyone here. This championship is an excellent opportunity for all local sportsmen and women, and will definitely broaden and enlighten the concept of rowing among school children and the youth. I'm also confident that this event, as it is an international event with 12 Commonwealth member countries involved, will have a positive economic impact on Walvis Bay and the Irongo region. Governor, I will not give the region out. And empower the rowing community of Namibia. Without taking up much of your time, I would like to officially welcome everyone to the official opening of the Commonwealth Rowing Championships that will take place on the 2nd and 4th December 2022. A welcoming speech should be as such, and not an explanation of everything that goes on. So with that being said, you are all welcome. Please do enjoy the day and the championship with all of us. Thank you very much.
It gladdens my heart to see you all gathered here today. It is not worth it if not mentioning the Walvis Bay City Council and its workers who went an extraordinary mile to support the idea and molding into an event by making sure that the beach is ready for this event. We are gathered here today to see the first introduction of coastal rowing in Namibia, keeping in mind that coastal rowing is here to stay and to grow bigger in Namibia. A child in sport is a child out of jail. The Namibian Canoe Rowing Federation will have a coastal rowing project after this event at this beach. If we want to succeed with this project, the Namibia Canoe and Rowing Federation needs support from all stakeholders in Walvis Bay and beyond. If you want to succeed, and our success will be judged by how many Olympians, continental and world champions we can produce from this project. Last but not last, we must and cannot allow our youth to be taken over by drugs and alcohol abuse. And we must fight it with tool and nail by introducing them to the coastal rowing project at Independence Beach. I know it's not going to be an easy road, but a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Come 2025, Namibia will have a team to be reckoned with. The donation of the rowing boats to Namibia won't go to waste. We promise Mr. Cookson and the rowing family at large, just watch the space. I thank you.
We are indeed privileged as a Rongo region to welcome you and to host this Commonwealth Beach Rowing Championship. Earlier this year, when we were informed by the Namibian Canoe and Rowing Federation that Namibia will be hosting the first Commonwealth Beach Rowing Championship, of course, we could not contain our excitement. I therefore want to take this opportunity in thanking all stakeholders who were involved in making this day a reality. It was not easy to have it here, and it was also not easy to organize this event, but finally we are here on the opening of this event. We are all aware that the sport started in Namibia to develop in 2010 here in Namibia. Ever since then, our country has taken its baby steps in developing the required infrastructures, developing its talent, which we saw Micah Digman to be the first Namibian at the 2020 Olympic to be an Olympian. It is therefore fitting to pay tribute to the pioneers of Namibian rowing, Dr. Christopher Schneider, Ms. Christy Benade, of one of them, and Mr. Anton Jacobi for their supporting to grow Namibian rowing, especially the flat water rowing. And indeed, and we are also celebrating for their contribution to see this event here in Namibia. It was this tireless commitment, or their tireless commitment and contributions, that made a mark and undoubtedly convinced Mr. Cookson, who played an instrumental role in realizing this dream of hosting this important championship here in Namibia. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Mr. Cookson, for your assistance and for your contribution towards this day today. And of course, I will fail in my duty if I do not extend a special word of appreciation to the World Rowing for their generous donation of the 10 rowing boats with a combination value of 1.1 million Namibian dollars. We surely thank you for this donation, and these boats will be used to further develop the sports in Namibia. And